Okay guys, welcome to episode 11 of the One Car Junkyard, and I really want to appreciate all the likes and subscribes and just having a lot of fun with this. Now, one of my subscribers actually contacted me and said, "You're not going to believe it, Joe, but I found a 57 Bel Air using Google Earth, and I want to share this story with you." So we're here in Southern California, and this 57 Bel Air has been sitting in a backyard since 1969 within 100 yards of the busiest freeway in the world. This car was parked in 1969. This is the way we found it. If you check the video, you're going to see where he physically pulled it out of the backyard. You can see the big dirt patch indicating that it sat stationary for all these years. This is a little piece of automotive history, and I'm really proud to show you guys, and it's really, really cool. So let's take a look at it, okay? So I did a little research, and this thing has a paint code 671, which was India Ivory and Surf Green. And you can see the original color here was kind of that beautiful two-tone Chevy paint scheme that they had back in the late 50s. Okay, back in the day, you could pull this car out of a junkyard or buy it off the street for a couple $100s, and a lot of guys, they didn't like the feminine colors, so they would paint them black, something more masculine, you know. I don't know what my friend's going to do with this car, but if it was me, I would just get it running and driving around looking ratty like this just to irritate people. Take it to the National Roadster Show and get people aggravated. Okay guys, a lot of people over years use the word patina. Some car guys get really irritated by it. Other guys really embrace it. The thing is though, is patina tells a story. Okay, it's like an archaeological dig. There's different layers to it. So with this car, there's the original surf green, then it's got some primer going on, got some Bondo, it's got the checking. This thing has been baking in the California sun for 50 years, if not longer. To tell you the truth, I think the patina thing's really, really cool. I just like the story that it tells. I love the fact when guys, they'll make the driveline impeccable and the rest of the car is ratty. I just like that. I went to that Trog show in Rubidoux a year or two ago. A lot of guys had these. It really, really looked cool. And I hope this is what happens with this one, to be honest with you. This thing's, it's got a history. It looks like it's got a little Bondo in the quarter panel. Now, again, we put fresh tires on it so we can push it around, roll it around. It's got the black California plates, and they were yellow and black. It's a period for the time, probably the original plates. In fact, they are the original plates. Now, remember, this thing was full of rat poop and just cobwebs and junk and all kinds of other stuff, but so we've cleaned it up a little so you can have a better view of what's under the hood. Now, this is not the original motor. We try to decipher the block castings on it, and it's a V8 motor out of a late 50s, early 60s Chevrolet product. This guy had gone down to the local speed shop and got a chrome fan and a chrome water pump pulley, got some valve covers. Even the battery tray is rusted out, but that's pretty common. You know, you expect that to happen. Pretty intact engine compartment. Now, we remember that Tahoe we had, guys? It was hit pretty hard in the front that had that 5.3 Vortec in it. That would be perfect to put in this car. You could buy an aftermarket harness and get the thing going, but that's what a lot of guys would use for a car like this. Now, It was a 3-on-the-tree car. It was a manual transmission car, but it came with the 3-on-the-tree. It's got a 4-speed in it. They put a 4-speed in it. The way you did it back in the day is you used a cold chisel and you punched a hole in the transmission hump, put the floor-mounted 4-speed in it. That shifter looks like it's out of a Corvette. And I did a little more deep diving into the casting numbers. This motor and transmission could have come out of a Corvette. And there's a couple things that will make Chevy guys go out of their minds, and that's arguing over casting numbers and what engine plant the thing came from. So I'm not even going to go there. I don't want to rip the scab off of that wound. Got the J.C. Whitney steering wheel. You know, it's got some Impala bucket seats in it. And if you look back here, there's no rust in the floor pans, and there's rust here, and that's an interesting story in itself. Remember, this car has been parked for more than 50 years, and that's rust from all the dogs peeing on the door and the quarter panel and the fender. Just some really cool, you know, barn find stuff. Here's where the gas cap went, right there. That's how you put the gas in the car. What I really like about when you find this old stuff is to see what's in the trunk. Okay, and that really kind of tells a story. I'm talking, there's some pretty bizarre stuff in here. So if you were a player, a true player, back in the 60s, 70s, you would have one of these at your house. Gin, scotch, and something else. And as some friends of mine used to tell me, gin will make you sin. And this guy did a lot of sinning. Okay, we got a bust of Abraham Lincoln. We got a hood ornament for, this looks familiar. Can't remember what it is, but you guys will let me know what it is. Coyote traps. Okay, Southern California, plenty of coyotes. Looks like we got some sheep shears or garden shears or something. This is cool because back in the day, guys would take a beer tap, and guys would put these beer taps on their shifters of their hot rods, and you know, you had Brew 102. Brew 102, if you're from Southern California, you'll remember that one. Looks like an Avon pipe and a wooden shoe for a baby. So, a little bit of everything here. Oh, look at this. It's got the original jack. That's cool. Yeah, this guy went crazy with the black paint. He painted everything. Remember, this is a surf green car. Surf green India Ivory. Let's see, as Brad Pitt said, what's in the box? Well, let's see what's in the box, okay? First of all, we got a Human Torch comic book. Look at these cool, adapters. Oh my God, look at this. Different adapters for, for a grease gun, okay? These are grease gun adapters. Wow, look at this. An Allen timing gun. Remember these? I know you guys remember these. You hook them onto the coil and the battery. Is this a dwell meter? Yeah, dwell meter. Boy, this stuff is really cool. So he looks like he was a mechanic. Look at this. This is cool. Okay, when you get the car and you find the original registration and the owner's driver's license, that's what you call provenance. This guy liked to burn a little mota back in the day when you could actually go to jail for smoking weed. Now you're a neurosurgeon smoking weed. Some, 323 rounds? Got some 22 longs, oddball keys. Oh, is that 12 gauge? Anyway, just kind of a cool things that you find in the car to tie its history. You know what, guys? Even if you have a little bit of documentation for a vehicle like this, it builds its provenance. It shows where the car came from. And the person that my friend got this car from had been the owner for 50 years, and his name is still on the old registration. He lost the title, but got the registration. It was last registered in 1969. Notice how there's just no rust in the floor pans, and there's no rust here on the roof line. I like how it's got the factory clock, factory radio, instrumentation. God, this would be so much fun to put back together. Okay, guys, I know there's some of you of our viewers from back east. They kind of drool over these West Coast cars that are pretty much rust-free. Check out the trunk in this thing, okay? This 57. There's no rust, okay? Look at the spare tire well. These things are usually completely rotted out. No rust there. This car was built in Tarrytown, New York, okay? I thought it might be a West Coast car because I think they made them in Oakland. They had GM had an assembly plant in Oakland, but this came from New York. So somehow it wound up out here. Love to know the story on that one. I remember talking to some of the old SoCal junk guys back in the day, and they told me that they would stay away from Corvettes because there wasn't much scrap value to them because they had too much fiberglass. So whenever they got a call to pick up an old Corvette, they'd be kind of irritated because they have to rip the body off and throw it away because you couldn't turn that into scrap metal money. And so I'm 50% sure that motor and transmission actually came out of a Corvette. You know, the guy probably went down to the junkyard and paid $100 for the pair and popped it in this old Chevy and cruised Southern California, hit all, Van Nuys Boulevard, Whittier Boulevard, PCH, just had a fun doing it. I would love to know what the stories that were in this car. So one of the things about being in the game for as long as I have, the salvage game, you see the decades of cars that come through the yard. And some of the stuff that I've seen, I pulled an RSSS 396 Camaro out of a yard up in San Bernardino, and I got it for $500, and I sold it for $2,700 so I could pay 3 months worth of mortgage. One time I bought a 70 Chevelle factory 4-speed car without a motor, but it still had the Muncie transmission in it. It was a rolling car, and I got it for free, and my neighbor had a 70 Chevelle station wagon with a big block in it, and at the time, I'm raising a family, I didn't have the money to put 2 and 2 together and have a factory 4-speed big block 70 Chevelle that would probably be worth every bit of $100,000. Oh well. I guess the point I'm trying to make is, just when you think you can't find this stuff, it pops up. So remember, you guys, you got to keep your head on the swivel. And the fact that my buddy actually found this car using, Google Earth and took a shot at just curiosity to see what it was, look what he scored. The thing that's even more awesome about this story is where this car was, there was another car in a garage in the same property that had been sitting since 1985. And it's really, really cool too. So stay tuned for that in episode 12.